As we approach the end of 2020, COVID-19 cases continue to climb throughout the United States, especially among the Latino community. According to the CDC, Latinos are most likely to become hospitalized from the virus compared to all other races. Both Latinos and the Black community are 2.8 times as likely to die from COVID-19 compared to white people. Latinos currently make up for 57% of positive cases in California and about 48% of deaths by the virus. Another group that has been severely impacted by COVID-19 is Latinx artists. After speaking with local artists and frontline workers from Sacramento, California, it was apparent that these marginalized communities have gone through major shifts.
Since I am an art student, I've been very accustomed to creating art on my campus, and the pandemic basically shut down everything. So I had to basically do a quick transition and get used to working at home and bringing all my stuff here. I got like a simultaneous load of like getting my hours cut, transitioning from school to home, both online and just, making art. And then, the things that the pandemic has brought, fear for your health, fear for your family's health, especially, in a Latino household, we're all on Medi-Cal, so, and I had lost my Medi-Cal for a couple of months. So that was like a whole other thing on top of everything.
Because of COVID, like 40% of the company got let go of. And I happened to be, one of them. The beginning of the year, I had just become a newly published author of my first book. So I had started promoting my book. And then when we got into January and February, I was planning on doing a local book tour. And then sure enough, COVID happened and that had to be postponed indefinitely.
But it was already a struggle to find work for a lot of Latino artists. And then to be hit with everything going on and making those opportunities even less. And especially when, theaters like, I would argue that Latino community theaters don't have the kind of funding to maybe put on digital productions. Not everyone, it's kind of, thought that everyone will have a laptop, but that's not the case. That's not always the case that someone just has a laptop. These are expensive devices. And I think that's something you also see when you push into homeschooling, doing school from home. I think Latino community, again, there's this inclination or there's this instinct that's like, oh, you should have a laptop. Oh, you should have good Wi-Fi. Oh, you should have yada, yada. But all these things aren't as normalized as a lot of people would like to think. And so that's why I think this pandemic has really hit these marginalized communities even harder. It's usually the people in these marginalized communities who are working retail jobs, who are the essential workers, we've called them. And they're out there every day putting themselves at risk, and then anyone they come home to at risk as well.
Yeah, I've been working as an EMT for almost a year now. So I started working before the pandemic started, but recently it's just been like it's normal to have multiple COVID positive patients a day or patients that have the symptoms. Just seeing how, the physicians and nurses are putting in 12-hour shifts and working with COVID positive patients or patients that are severely being impacted by it. It's really sad, but it also makes me happy to see that a lot of the healthcare workers are putting in, their heart and soul to help these patients.
I have not hugged my mom in like 9 months, and it honestly sucks. And I mean, but the only reason I don't hug her is for her health. She's a type 2 diabetic. She's 55. I just don't want to risk it. Like, what if I'm asymptomatic and I just give it to her and, it's just not worth it. She'll keep her mask off around me and I'm like, put your mask on. Like, I don't live with you, it's not safe. And she'll be like, ay, mija, nada pasa. And Dios nos cuida y todo eso. And I'm just like, Mom, I appreciate the sentiment, but it's a very real, concern of mine.
Please continue to support local Latinx artists and practice social distancing to keep yourself and those around you safe.